All right, so new week, new low. So we have a lot of things going on with the tariff wars, with the stock market falling and nuking like crazy, and all, of course, Bitcoin and all crypto are following. I've seen a lot of people talking about some stuff like relative strengths and stuff like that. It's all bullshit, in my opinion. Um, Now let's see what do we have here in the chart. Let's go into here. We can see here that we have a really bad weekly close the previous week. Now this indicates for me like a new low coming, maybe a move lower. This is the beginning of a move lower, probably. Let me go into the daily, show you something. Bitcoin is the hedge against recession. Let me take a look because I've seen it somewhere. Damn. Bitcoin, yeah. The chart is looking good. Might be like a good buy. Let's continue with this. Now, let's open up our higher time frame value areas. So we have three value areas. First of all, the value area at 70k to 60k. This past year from March to like November. The VA from 100k to like 90 92 93, around there, and the VA that we have formed here, and as you can see we had clear rejections up here from 88k to like 82k, 81k, 82k, around there. Now some might say this is not a clean value because we are still in a downtrend and we keep trending lower and lower, keep making new lows and stuff like that. I will agree at some point, but it's a fair value. All right, price is moving between these levels for like 5 to 6 weeks, I think. Yeah, 6 weeks now. Let's zoom in. All right, we had pretty clean rotations from value low to value high and the opposite, and as you can see we have made like, let me show you the rotations. Clean rotations, we talked about it. Clean rotation here as well. Lows were holding also. Rotation to the highs. Here we had like new tariff announcements from Trump, but as you can see, price action wise and auction theory wise, we are rejecting into a value area high, right? So what would this indicate? A rotation to the lows, which came pretty quickly, I must say. But as you can see, we also had like an acceptance below the value. The rejections here at the range POC, which is at 84k, was a pretty bearish indication of a downtrend, right? Because when you get to build like time and space below value area low, and constant rejections of POC, you'll probably get a move like this, right? Let me show you another example of this. Here, for example, POC was holding, right? Where did we go next? To value high. Here, POC was holding. Where did we go next? To value high. Here, POC was rejecting. Where did we go next? To value low and below. Alright, now let's close our value areas. We can see here that we have a 3 drive, right? This, in my opinion, could be a pretty good bottom because the 3 drive pattern is pretty good, but we have to rotate higher for now and flip some levels. For example, let's open up again value area. So the bearish line in the sand remains 81 to 82k value area low of this value, of this 6-week value. If we come here and we reject, we're talking about a rotation to the lower value at 70k. And I think this will happen also fast because if we're escaping outside of this value, we're gonna be getting an imbalanced move lower to find a new value or a previous value. In this case, it's the 70k to 60k value for us. Now, the bearish scenario is this, alright? And let's expand to that. If we come here and bounce from like the POC of this range, which is at 68k, let's say, around here, if we bounce from here, accept back above value area high, we're getting a bounce, probably a move to the previous value. But the most bearish scenario would be like an acceptance below here, rejections at value area high, and full rotation to 60k. This is the most bearish scenario out here for now, but further on, because we're still here. Now, let's talk about the bullish scenario. The bullish scenario here would be first of all, a clean and pretty fast low made here, no easy entries, because there are a lot of people that want to buy spot like down here. So the best thing, or if you remember about the round number theory, we found round numbers 70k in that case, because there are a lot of bids around here, and we just reversed the whole thing. So the bullish scenario would be a pretty fast move up here with price slow grinding above value area low and the rotation back to value area high or even higher to this value area at 92k, 93k. So above here, if we get like a slow grind setup, I'm looking for a big long above here, only above here. I mean, you can buy some spot down here, sorry, but it's not a good play in my opinion because you don't have a clean invalidation. If you get like spot buys above here, you have an invalidation on this low, right? So the setup would be like this, for example, for a spot play. Rotation to like value area high or even higher to previous value. And if we get like acceptance above here, like a slow grind pattern, we're gonna be getting a rotation to value high 100k and above. So this for now for higher time frame. Now let's go into like let me also show you the bearish scenario. The bearish scenario setup would be rejections here. So rejections here with price rejecting and getting an acceptance below the value would lead to a massive move lower to 70k. So this is the bear scenario and this is the swing short setup that I'm looking at. Alright, now let's go into Ethereum higher time frame. So Ethereum higher time frame, we talked about these rejections here, clean deviation of this high that led to a rotation way lower, clean liquidity down here and beyond. Let me also show you the show. For higher time frame, Ethereum, I'm looking at spot buys around here. Spot buys around here would be a pretty good place to form like a range maybe. Spot buys around here. And reversal, alt season and stuff like that. So this is the bull scenario. The bear scenario would be with BTC coming to retest 82k, Ethereum retesting 1.7 to 1.8k, retesting here, rejecting and getting to below this cycle's low, which is at below $900. So this is the bear scenario. This would lead basically the rejection at 82k we talked about earlier would lead Ethereum to pull a move like this. Ethereum is looking pretty bad. The bullish scenario would be like a range here, hold these lows, don't form a new bottom because you don't know where this bottom will end. Range here, alt season coming, stuff like that, along with a bullish scenario coming up for BTC. Right. So that's for Ethereum. Let me take a look at Sol. I haven't looked at it at all. Alright, Sol is looking pretty bad, honestly. We'll be probably getting, I think, a bit lower, like around bottom to form around here would be the best case scenario, honestly. It all depends on BTC. Now let's also look pretty quickly at BTC dominance, which is ripping higher and higher. You can do TA on these charts, but it's a clean uptrend, right? Until this breaks below here, no alt season, bye alts. Ethereum BTC close to a new low. This box here is like only hopium. Close to a new bottom. It all depends on BTC. So now let's go back to BTC and look at also VWAPs. Let me by the way, I've integrated the sessions VWAPs and they are looking pretty good. They are plotting like VWAPs for Asia, London, and New York session. New York and close sessions, both together, they're pretty good for scalps. As you can see, rotations from Valuer high to Valuer low, from Valuer low to Valuer high, sorry. Acceptance above VWAP, new trend coming. Pretty basics to it. Now let's go into VWAPs here. So that looks pretty ugly. This is the yearly VWAP. All right. As you can see, we had like clean rejections below the developing Valuer low. All right. Now let's talk about scenarios. What would be the most bullish scenario? The most bullish scenario would be a 3 tap here, price action wise, acceptance above previous year Valuer high, and developing Valuer low. This is the most bullish scenario. All right. Now we have like a line in the sand being 82k again. As you can see, levels align. So previous year Valuer high around here. Rejections here would lead to a massive move lower. And by lower, I mean previous year VWAP around 67k basically, which is the same POC if you remember from the 8-month value. So now, pretty bad overall, but we have some hopium left. Now let's go into the quarterly VWAP. Quarterly VWAP, we are into a new quarter, clean rejections again from previous quarter. Basically it's forming like a new value here, so you can't tell yet what is going to happen. New value being formed here. The most bullish scenario would be form a new value, accept back above Valuer low, developing Valuer low, spend some time here, get acceptance above previous value, previous quarter Valuer low, and rotation higher. This would be the most bullish scenario. If we get like again rejections at developing quarterly VWAP, sorry, this would lead to a massive move lower. Basically the same scenario, the same bearish scenario as before. As you can see, levels align perfectly again. So this about the quarterly VWAP. Now let's go into the monthly. So as you can see, new month, we had like the previous month Valuer low being at 82k. Again, levels align perfectly. So we had like clean rejections from Valuer high. This whole thing acts like an area, not a single level. Rejection for Valuer high. Constant rejections from monthly VWAP, monthly developing VWAP, as you can see here, also here. Liquidity being formed below here, so it was an easy setup for lower. Now, bearish bullish scenario. So I think we're getting a bounce here. If we don't get a bounce, this is the most bearish scenario that would ever come. If we're getting a bounce, 82k still remains the line in the sand. All right. So rejections at previous month Valuer low and developing VWAP would be pretty bad and would lead to a move low. acceptance above here would shift things higher. So 82k remains the most important level from now on. Alright. This level basically will determine if we're going lower or higher for the next few weeks or even months. Now, as of weekly VWAP, if you remember, last week we talked about when the new week opens below the previous week, we're probably getting a retest, as we did here, of the previous week. So that's hopium for higher for now. 81k, previous week value low, 83k, previous week VWAP, and 85k, previous week value high. Alright, so we could spend a lot of time here, we could form weekly VWAP, weekly developing VWAP, get a small uptrend on lower time frame, and move up to here, which is 82k, the most important level for now, and we'll see what happens here. If we get like acceptance above here, rotation to higher, to these highs are not looking safe. Also we get like a huge gap here. So yeah, it all depends on this acceptance here. If we get acceptance here, we get a move higher to these highs. Now, for a bottom forming here, I'd like to see a break above this high. Basically, what I said earlier, the best case scenario would be like uptrend only from here. No pullbacks, no easy entries, just price going higher and higher to flip these levels, to come into 82k and flip these levels. We've seen it happening a lot in crypto, like having a massive bleed followed by a huge buying pressure and price getting bought up. Alright, so this is the best case scenario. But we could also be doing this, as I said earlier, form a weekly value here, break here, come retest, weekly VWAP, and form a small uptrend to higher. So these are the plans for this week. 82k remains the most important level. Mark it out. It's like all the levels combined from a simple market profile perspective, from VWAP perspective, from price action perspective. As you can see here, we have like a breaker block, also an order block that led to this massive move lower. So yeah, 82k, 81, 82k, it's pretty significant. Alright, that's it for today. This is our weekly prep and weekly outlook. Huge week coming up. News, we have like OMC, we have like inflation rate year over year. Okay, we have like pretty big news, PPI as well. So yeah, huge week, pretty interesting to see what's coming up next. So stay safe and better be sidelined than getting your ass ripped, honestly. So let me stop the recording.